Holy shit, I cannot say that I expected that, but Mets win 16-4 over the Atlanta Braves in game 12 of the regular season here, and they win the series against the Braves as well. I know that the other game, the third game of the series yesterday, got rained out, which honestly I'm not complaining about. Give me a night off of my sports teams, but if this was going to be the result of yesterday too, then I would have wanted it. I cannot believe the Mets won a series against the Atlanta Braves because it just feels like it's the rarest thing to happen, but they just bent them over entirely. Like, this was not even close at all, this game. We're going to talk about, though. Leave a like here on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live on the channel. But like I said, I mean, this was not even a close game at all. The Mets started off on fire, which this game started in a delay, actually, but they started off on fire. Like, they got a walk from Marte, which Marte again hitting second. I know that some people don't like that, but hey, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work at this rate. But he ends up getting a walk. Pete had a single, so all of a sudden you got some guys on, and then Brett Beatty with an RBI single as he is hitting the bat well. That made it 1-0. Unfortunately, the inning would end there, but to go up 1-0 early on the Braves was huge. Jose Quintana on the bump for the Mets. He got a 1-2-3 inning, and then the second inning, the Mets opened up the scoring even further. They got a walk from McNeil. Stewart would fly out. Then a force out from Bader. But with 2 outs, Brandon Nimmo would get a double. And then Marte would get on with an error. And that all of a sudden made it 3-0. So the Mets had some life to them. Unfortunately, Lindor would ground out because hitting left-handed is still not working out for him. But that's neither here nor there. We get to the bottom of the second where another easy inning for Quintana. Like, there's not even a lot to talk about. The third inning, the Mets just blew the scoring. They just blew the score open entirely, and you pretty much knew the game was over there. Alonso got a single, Beatty grounded out, but then Alvarez an RBI double, McNeil an RBI double, DJ Stewart of all people with a home run, having the Kyle Schwarber stat line here. Well, at least earlier in the game where he had like a 900 OPS while he's hitting like 1 something. But even then, he has like a near 800 OPS right now with a 105 batting average, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, he gets a big home run there to make it 7-0. I'm not a big DJ Stewart guy, but I'll say it right now. The times that he's got hits, it's far and few, the times he has, but they have been big hits. They really have. And then back-to-back groundouts would end the inning. In the bottom of the third, Quintana would get a 1-2-3 inning. The fourth inning, Marte would ground out. The one time Lindor got a single, a little bit of a weird one, but he still got one. Pete Alonso hits into a double play after the fourth inning, another easy inning, which Matt Olson, I should say, almost got a home run. So I shouldn't say entirely easy, but still, it would have been Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 42 at that point. Top of the fifth, the Mets go down in order. And then the fifth inning, the bottom of the fifth, that's where there was a little bit of trouble, and I got worried, I'm not going to lie here, that the game was going to be close and the Mets were going to have to use guys like Diaz, Raley in this game. And it's like, they're going to win like, I don't know, like 8-3 or 8-4 or something, but we're gonna sweat this one out, right? But thankfully that wouldn't be the case. But like I said, it ended up being tricky as there was a double there by Trump that made it 7-2, and then a wild pitch allowed another run to come in, which made me really think. Like, at that point, you're letting up a run on a wild pitch. That scared me, but Quintana worked out of the jam to an extent. I mean, not great allowing the runs he did, but so, like, I mean, 2 runs isn't terrible. You get to the 6th inning, 1-2-3, the Mets go down in order. The bottom of the 6th, fairly easy inning there as well. I mean, Olson struck out, single from Ozuna, and then right away, Drew Smith came in, got 2 easy outs. The 7th inning, the Mets broke the game open even further. You have Marte get on, steal a base as well. Lindor gets on from an error. Alonso walks, which, by the way, the amount of times in general this game, you got Michael Harris in center not tracking a ball well. You got fielding errors left and right, wild pitches, this and that. Like, the Braves played a very sloppy game of baseball that we're accustomed to seeing from the Mets, so refreshing to be on the other side of it. Beatty struck out, Alvarez grounded out, made it 8-3 though, and then McNeil with a single to break the game open further to make it 10-3. And at that point, I was not worried one bit. I was like, I could kick my feet up, relax, this is going to be a win. Drew Smith with a solid 1-2-3 inning. Nice to see him getting off to a decent start. Like, there are times he's gotten into trouble so far, but it's still nice to see they've gone this many outings for him without giving up at least an earned run, that is. And then you go to the 8th inning, and again, Harrison Bader a single, and then Nimmo with a stand-up triple. A wild pitch scores him. Marte with a single, and you felt the Mets were going to further break the game open. Unfortunately, the rest of the order would go down. Then we get to the 8th where Tyler J comes in. He gets a ground out, then allows a double, gets a fly out, a wild pitch, a walk, a single. So all of a sudden things get a little scary, but it was 1 run, 12-4. It's not a big deal. And then Luis Guillorme pitching for the Braves, and that's his first appearance for the Braves just in general in a game, which is even more hilarious. And the Mets would load the bases up. Tyrone Taylor would pitch it for Nimmo, because get Nimmo out of the game so he doesn't get hurt. And Tyrone Taylor with a grand slam off of Guillorme to make it 16-4. And we sweated it out a little bit in the 9th with Tyler J, but not really sweated it. More like got a little worried that somebody else was going to have to come into the game there. But thankfully, he got the job done. So they saved their bullpen a lot between the rain delay, between this game, and then I think they didn't even use the higher leverage guys the first game, right? Because that's what one of my complaints was there. But overall, they played a very solid game. Like, I mean, there's nothing really to complain about outside of the fact that Lindor is still struggling from the left side and couldn't get a hit off of Guillorme. Those are the only justifiable complaints from this game, is that you still need to see Lindor improve. Like, this is still, like, it's hard to complain about that in a 16-4 win, but you want to see it. Like, at the end of the day, you want to see that. But Nimmo, another great day from him. He's finding his rhythm. Marte really looking solid up there, which is nice to see. And him stealing bases is adding a huge element to the top of the lineup that's been missing. You have Alonso with a very solid day at the plate. Beatty, how about him defensively, though? There was one play they challenged in the 8th inning. I wish they didn't challenge at the Braves, but Brett Beatty had just such a beautiful throw to first base. If Pete just got in front of that more, that probably would have been an out there. And just in general, he had a huge leaping catch too, which how did I even forget to mention that? He's just looking so confident on both sides of the ball, and this is the Brett Beatty that we've been needing, and this is what we expected Brett Beatty to be, and it's looking like right now he's here, and who knows, maybe there's even better in him down the stretch here. Like, who knows what he could be, but he's so far putting together a really solid season. Even McNeil turning things up a bit. You had Alvarez have a very solid game as well, and then Stewart had the clutch, and Harrison Bader even getting a couple hits, which I realized I forgot to update his hits amount to 2. So he went 2 for 5, not 1 for 4 there. I forgot to update it when Guillorme came in and he was the first batter there. But yeah, very impressive win for the Mets. They went 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position, only leaving 5 stranded, and they had very good pitching as well in this game. Quintana gave a very good outing. The only gripe you could have is that you want him to eat more innings, but even then, you barely had to use the bullpen between Smith and Jay. Those two, either way, Jay's probably not going to stick around, so Drew Smith's the only guy probably unavailable in tomorrow's game, which is an ideal situation if you ask me. So very happy with the way that this game went, and let's hope that the Mets can now string together more wins as they face a red-hot Royals team going into Citi Field here. So that's going to be a little interesting, a little challenging. Michael Walker's on the bump for them tomorrow, I think, for, of course, the Royals, that is, and then Severino for the Mets. Hopefully Severino could finally get a win there. And then it's also going to be Manaea versus Marsh, which the entire Royals pitching staff, and then they have to face Reagans, which really sucks. But that Royals staff in general has been really good so far. So let's see, and let's hope that the Mets could string together a win streak here. And let's hope that they could start to win series at the very least. Like, at least 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. And that's what they did in 2022 to get them to 100-something wins, 101, whatever it was. Keep doing that, and eventually you'll find your way to 500. So, yeah, only 2 games below it now, which is crazy considering how worried we all were at the start of the season, including myself. I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't. But that's really going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live on the channel next. I'll see you guys in the next one.